What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a couple of very important things going on in the market. We're going to talk about crypto whale accounts. We're going to talk about institutional investors, even lawmakers in Congress getting into crypto personally. But before we dive into that, it still says about 70% of you watching are not subscribed. So if you enjoy short form, concise, no BS content that doesn't waste either of our times, we'll make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if we get this video to 2,000 likes, I will open up new spots in the Patreon. We sold out the other day, but if we get the video up to 2,000 likes, I'll open up new spots to everyone. Right now, crypto is at a $2.32 trillion market cap. We're seeing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, Solana. Most of the coins today are relatively flat. Over the last couple of days, like we've spoken about, the narrative has been all around Bitcoin, and actually a couple of very interesting stories, catalysts, just came out. So the first is with regards to some data that shows that Bitcoin holders are acting the exact opposite to what they did in Q1 of 2021. We are seeing that Bitcoin holders are going all in. They are doubling down on their Bitcoin investments. Data from on-chain analytics company Glassnode shows that the proportion of Bitcoin supply that is either being held long-term or that was lost for good is at its highest that it's ever been in the last year. You can see right here, we are at over 7.2 thousand Bitcoin, and this is the highest level we have seen on this chart since about January of 2021. The previous time that we saw this at this level was back in Q4 of 2020 when Bitcoin's price was still around $20,000 per coin. So this is interesting because it shows that people are adding to their Bitcoin position, holding it, and not selling it. Last time we saw a bull market, we were actually seeing that Bitcoin holders were doing the opposite. A lot of these people were taking profits. A lot of long-term holders were saying, maybe I should be selling some. And that is what we saw back then. Another thing going on is with regards to institutional investors. Institutional investors are also doubling down on Bitcoin as well. Because right now, according to the most recent JP Morgan analyst report, they came out and said that right now there's been a recent increase in demand from institutional investors. The recent increase in price of Bitcoin, they were saying, has a lot to do with institutional investors looking to hedge against inflation. So this is also very different than what we have seen previously. Back in May, JP Morgan released a report saying that investors were switching out of Bitcoin and into gold. But now they're saying the exact opposite is happening, where investors right now are getting out of traditional gold, getting more into Bitcoin. They said for a couple of main reasons. The first is that there's been a lot of recent assurances by U.S. lawmakers that they're not going to ban Bitcoin. I think this is pretty obvious. We all know that the U.S. is not going to ban Bitcoin. They have it in a number of bills already where they generate tax revenue. So they're not going to be banning crypto or Bitcoin anytime soon. The second reason that they cited was the recent rise of the Lightning Network and second layer payment solutions, which have helped, which has all been helped by El Salvador adopting Bitcoin. So again, this is just showing us that mass adoption of Bitcoin is making big money players a little more comfortable with investing their money in to Bitcoin. And then one of the other things with regards to this report is that we're also seeing that it's not just institutional investors. Shark Tank Kevin O'Leary came out earlier this week and said that he actually owns more Bitcoin than he does gold. And we're seeing a lot of people say the exact same thing. So this is very interesting that all of these people who were once either against Bitcoin or people or institutions who might have been going into gold, now they're switching their entire strategy. They're putting more money into Bitcoin, less money into gold, and they're realizing the value and utility of Bitcoin. Last story of the day is going to be with Senator Cynthia Lummis. Cynthia Lummis has been a longtime Bitcoin supporter, but she just recently came out and said, disclosed a purchase of up to $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. In a report that was released on October 7th, 2021, she reported that she purchased between $50,000 and $1 to $100,000 of Bitcoin. Interesting thing here is that she filed actually out of the timeline that she is supposed to. There's a 45-day reporting deadline set by the Stop Trading and Congressional Knowledge Act, essentially to make sure that lawmakers follow all these rules. There's not any illegal activities. They're not just investing based on some law they're voting on. We know this happens, but this law is in place because of that. And actually, according to Cynthia Lummis, she didn't report within the 45-day window. She bought this back in August. And the most interesting thing about this is this purchase was made just 2 weeks after Cynthia Lummis and 2 other senators tried to insert an amendment into the infrastructure bill to sort of limit the way that this bill defined the word brokers. So either way, what this shows us is that institutional investors are continuing to buy. We are seeing that long-term holders are holding more than they were back in the beginning of the year. They're not selling, they're continuing to accumulate more. And then the third thing is that with regards to lawmakers, they're buying crypto themselves. They wouldn't be buying if there were any sort of rumors or any sort of talks in Congress about Bitcoin being banned. They wouldn't be buying it. So all of this is very positive news for crypto, and it's ultimately just going to help continue to propel Bitcoin's price and all the crypto market higher. But anyways, that's what's going on with crypto. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See you guys.